see it, and I think probably if we do see more Talia, I'm expecting more of the Vel'Koz. But we are getting ready to go into our first game of the day. This is London United versus Nativz. London United 0-3 right now, while Nativz 2-1 in the standings. GP is going to be the first ban there, an expected ban to come through, as well as that Lilia in the jungle.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? And I mean, kind of funny that you mentioned this type of thing that the Vel'Koz true damage, because again, like this patch has like kind of changes the game like so much. It's like it's like the biggest patch I've ever seen in like a super long time. It really changes a lot, and that's why what's so fun about, especially Div 2 as well, because these guys they play whatever they want. Like they don't really take like LCK or like LEC meta into consideration. They're kind of having some OP first picks. We see now the Gwen obviously being banned, not gonna be played in this game at least. But just having like just watching this, and that's what I'm super excited about today as well, because these teams, it's always gonna be some kind of niche pick in every single game that we're gonna play, and I'm just here to like learn from these type of players. It's gonna be fun.
You're just trying to
Yeah.
figure out what you're playing in solo queue. Is that what you're doing, mate?
I
Is
mean,
that what you're?
yeah, man. Honestly, like you said that this patch was like the 12.11 is like the no 12.10 was the worst one of this. But honestly, I was on a 2-week break. I was just enjoying my time. I come back today and I play one game and I'm just completely miserable. I get double level 3. I'm full HP, and then my team just leaves me and I can't play. Like it was just a bummer. But maybe it was just unlucky. And as I mean, Wukong actually getting locked in again, so not like a big surprise, right? But nice to see that. I mean, this is kind of what usual that when a new patch comes out, teams just kind of stick to what's the old guns until someone
Yeah.
else figures out the OP picks. So not surprised there. But is this a lock-in? No, it's not. Right?
Still hovering it for the moment.
Yeah.
We did actually see quite a lot of priority on the Wukong last week as well. Still considered to be quite a good top laner. We are going to see the Karthus getting locked in. Now, that one's a bit
Okay.
spicy. Again, kind of leaning towards teams thinking they get that free scaling. I'm curious to see. I'm assuming it's going to go in the jungle. Although I do know that you could potentially still put it in the mid. Now it's a little bit more tanky. It's harder to dive because the towers do more damage. So for this Karthus, there is that slight flexibility. I'm still going to lean towards it being a jungler, and seeing the Nautilus get locked in, actually a very interesting one, because typically we see a lot of emphasis on the enchanters in the bot lane as the support, so they actually have an engaged support. Very, very interesting here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes kind of sense, right? You have the cards already. You're kind of just some sort of engaged to like go with that. But I was kind of surprised to not see like stuff like Lucian getting picked up here, like just 1-2ing in Cardos Lucian, making sure that enemy can't pick this incredibly like powerful champion. You get Prion in basically every lane, and also it's a flex pick on the red side. So I'm kind of surprised to not see that. But I mean, maybe Clock's like just like. Actually, it's either Clock saying I want to play Nautilus, or it's a coach like kind of forcing him to play Nautilus, because I swear this champion gets blind picked so much, and not surprised to see the Leona lock in there the answer from Bossy.
I mean, I'm not surprised to see it in response, but I'm surprised to see it until this feels like a 12-9 draft, to be completely honest, apart from ignore the Karthus. I'm amazed we're not seeing like the likes of a Nami getting picked up, and now we're looking probably towards the AD carry here for the side of Nativz. They are going to pick up that Kai'Sa, a kind of old school bot lane duo there. Obviously, being able to get those void stacks going for Joppa on the Kai'Sa. Pretty standard stuff there. Now we're going to see where the bans go towards. Obviously, junglers most likely picked up, but there is obviously that slight flexibility in the Karthus. So we'll see where the bans go. But I expect any things like probably like the Talia getting banned away from the mid lane. This Tristana is also something we have seen show up a little bit in the mid lane, just because of its ability to kind of bust through those towers and get those early plates. Because early gold is so much harder to come by, because you don't get those dive kills. You don't really find the kills in lane, so you want to get those plates.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you. I'm kind of surprised to see. I mean, I'm actually really excited to see Kai'Sa like kind of being back in the meta. This champ is like so fun to watch and play. At least when you're not playing like the AP build, that shit is. Oh, I'm sorry for that as a cuss, but that thing is just so boring to watch. But seeing Kai'Sa in the meta kind of makes me happy. I know Joppa as well. I play a bunch with him against him in solo queue. He likes to play Kai'Sa a lot. And seeing the Tristana ban coming out, I mean, I guess Nativz they're kind of respecting the Lucian being a flex pick still, but I assume that they're not scared as well to play this incredibly like explosive matchup like Kai'Sa Nautilus against Lucian Leona as well. And now I see the Veigar ban coming in, which I'm not sure. I mean, could be a good pick into the cards, right, if it's mid. But honestly, man, I can't really tell. I can't predict anything here.
It is Cuff.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
What?
Hold on. Is that roaming pike mid? I like the Veigar just because of how short range Nativz is.
Yeah.
So I actually like that ban from them. We saw a skipped ban from London United. They also got themselves the Ornn locked in there. That Pike is, I mean, if we're seeing like a Predator roaming Pike mid, I swear Nativz didn't realize we're on a new patch. Like, that's
Yeah.
the only thing. Like, man, that is so weird to see Pike get picked up. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what the answer's going to be, because it looks to me like that wasn't in Carly lock-in as well there for the side of London United. Man, Div 2 just hits real different. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, this is what kind of we mentioned, right? There's always like this one pick that you can't make any logic of it. You can't really grasp what the other team is thinking. I mean, I kind of respect. Actually, it would be kind of annoying to play against like double hook champion as well, Nautilus and Pike. But as you mentioned, we have no clue where these champions are going. I assume, as you said, probably it's going to
What
be
is
the
going
Pike
on?
mid. But I can't focus, man. I mean, it's okay. At least that's okay. At least London United, you know, guys, thanks. We can at least like kind of get a grasp of where you're going. Obviously, it's gonna be Lucian
Yeah.
mid,
Yeah.
Akali top, unless they're like really flex kingdoms, like they're Caps and Wunder back in 2019, and they just perma-flex every single champ. But this final lock-in, the Gragas hover, assume it's gonna be a top lane, right? And then a Pike mid. Ah man, this is gonna be a banger already. I can already tell.
This is going to be a banger of a game. I am so happy because if you watched Div 1 last week, you probably saw me and Amira having a breakdown about how boring some of the games were. This doesn't look to me like, oh, let's play Enchanters and scale to like 35 minutes and then fight. This feels like these teams are going to be scrapping the whole time. Lucian mid lane getting picked up here. I assume it's going to be Lucian mid lane. I can't actually see the timer. There it is. Okay, it's going to be Lucian mid. I assume Sarge is going to have a pretty comfortable lane versus Riley here, because Pike struggles in lane. Obviously, they changed the Q a little while ago. Doesn't quite get as much damage on the minions. The E obviously doesn't damage the minions anymore either. So it slows down that ability for him to shove. But once he hits 6 and probably has Predator and Moby Boots and just goes for a swim, he is going to be such a nuisance. And I actually kind of low-key kind of highly value Pike on this current patch. I know Enchanters are something that gets like a lot of attention in the support pool, and this isn't this is a mid lane Pike. But with everyone being tankier, that execute becomes even more valuable. And with the fact that a lot of people will be running shields as well. In this game, maybe not so many shields, but there is the shields for them to work with. Seeing those, obviously Pike just executes through the shields as well. So I actually think we might see a little bit more Pike in the coming weeks, just because he actually has a fairly decent way to handle some of the stuff that is kind of in the current meta.
Yeah, no, I mean, I respect that point as well. I think it's fair. I think really though, I really hope this game that he's able to like kind of pull out what you're saying, because obviously it looks good on paper, right? Like you're Pike, you kind of roaming, you don't really care about your lane, but you're playing into Lucian with TP,
Yeah.
who has like perma push, and your jungle is Karthus, who never wants to gank. So it's kind of on Rilla himself to like either Yoppa and Clocks has to have perma pry in this lane, and Nautilus can like fog Rilla to make sure they get mid pry, and then they can play however kind of they want. But also, just looking at pure lanes, I assume Greg is gonna get Pry into Akali, because this champ is not a champion until level 6. And then it's the bot matchup again, like so explosive. I think level 1 is gonna be really important there. If Nates can get Pry on this bot, I think they can help out really a lot. But if they don't, I think first 6 levels for Nate is gonna be really, really difficult. But we just have to see.
Oh, we'll keep our eyes on that. It is time for us to get into our first game, though. Remember, London United unable to find themselves a win. Nativz definitely locked themselves a spicy comp. I think there's a lot of boxes they have to tick, though, and I'm kind of glad you hit on that, because it looks like a fun draft. It looks like a draft that could technically work, but they do need to make sure that it does work. I feel if you fall behind on this team, you are going to really struggle, and you've got that Lucian in the mid lane for the side of London, so expect to see the push pressure and just the trading pressure coming out from Sarge on that. Obviously, the Leona and the Xayah have an element of safety in that lane post 6. Also, you know, they can fire back. Clocks lands a hook. If it doesn't land onto Rusty Sniper, Buzzy could just look to turn it back around onto Jopper. You can see a bit of respect has come out from that for Jopper, as he's got the cleanse as his summoner spell. Rusty Sniper taking the exhaust on the other hand. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how this is going to go down. But remember, we are still on 12-10. The towers have that damage buff, so they do more damage when you go for those early dives, and it is harder to try to pull those off. So it's going to be interesting to see how the junglers will be playing this out. I expect to see Joe either playing an invade heavy game or a gank heavy game, whilst Nearly just needs time to get it some farm under their belt.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you for sure. I think it's not a disrespectful draft from Nativz, but I think they're kind of betting on the fact that London United is not gonna be able to like punish as much like pre-6 and like because in a perfect world, right, Lucius gets Prio mid, and then Wukong is kind of living in Carter's jungle the first 3 levels. But I think what the Natives actually did good here is they warded like on bot lane, they warded the mid bush level 1, so they knew that London United were not there, and they also like were first on the wave, so they're actually gonna be able to get Prio now, and this kind of unlocks. I mean, they kind of locks clocks on the map now on this wave, and maybe I mean I would be surprised if he moves mid already, but this kind of hinders Voljo to invade on this Wukong, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, for now though, it looks like Voljo just doing a what seems to be a full clear here. Same for Snilly, so might see some action look to break out between the two around this crab area maybe, but it could also just be Snilly going, right, I need to kind of guess where you are and avoid you or whatever crab you go to, because Snilly will lose that fight every time if they try to actually go for it.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure, right? Card is not really useful. I also started top side, so it's like has literally 0 mana right now. He has to really get his blue there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, just really good now for Natives. They are just stabilizing on bot side. It means that, I mean, obviously, London United cannot punish as hard. And I would be surprised actually if Snilla doesn't just one-shot this crab and then they just get out safely. So this kind of make sure that Snillius gets his first clear going as fast as possible. But actually, when I see that, Voljo is actually doubling over to the crab.
Yeah, did try to steal it away. He's actually slid into Snilly's pocket, but Snilly able to get a little bit of additional damage off as very little stun there from Bars comes out as Clocks flashes forward and Zard's just able to dodge away. Flash comes out over the wall, and actually we might just have first blood. I didn't even see what happened. Riley caught out Voljo.
What? Wait, really used? I have no clue what Pike ability is his name, but he used his E, like he flashed and he actually caught Voljo off guard, and he did so much damage, man. Like I think Snilla just hit like 1 Q on this, but as I say that, fighting on bot.
Yeah, Jopper has to use the cleanse already. Clocks able to get a little bit of additional damage out onto Buzzy, and it looks like Nativ's going to be okay with this trade. They want to back off and reset and recover some health as much as possible.
Yeah, I think Voljo will probably just cover his bot side here to make sure that they can crash this. But man, I thought we were not gonna see action at all pre-6. But I mean, these guys are here to fight. They're here to. Ooh.
Oh, actually jumping in with a Zenith Blade. Jopper almost eats those feathers. Buzzy's going low. Buzzy's going down. Jopper able to pick up the kill just like that with the Acafian Rain.
What an absolute disaster there. I mean, Buzzy is kind of a good plan, right? But Voljo was nowhere close to get into range of engaging there. So Joppa just kind of pick up the freebie. Now he's going to be able to pick up this wave as well. And I mean, it's kind of spells the kind of disaster for London United this early. I mean, you could just say that these are just 2 kills, right? But just actually, I'm not going to talk too much because Voljo is not done. He's still level 3, but he wants to go for the dive.
Remember, these towers are doing even more damage. They need to time this perfectly. No flash available to Jopper. He's picked up. Voljo able to pick up 2 in response. A double kill for London United's jungler.
Okay, what a saving grace there from Voljo. It was about to be really disaster if Joppa got that recall off for free, but now he loses. Like, look at that big wave on bot that he's gonna miss. It's like at least 2 waves. And I mean now, I mean the teams are trading blow for blow. I was really happy to see that because like when all this was happening, like Voljo trying to gank bot, you see Snill already is like 20 CS up. If they were not gonna get anything out of that, could have been a real disaster. But I mean now we're back onto the game. Snille starting up the Drake, as it looks like already. Is that a 5-minute Drake? It's kind of Giga Shad behavior as well.
Nice and early here for the Carthus. Lundorf being heavily shoved in by Super Big Fun. What a great name. Has got that level 6 as well. So Lundorf needs to be careful because that perfect execution with the Ignite teleport and him being a little bit low on mana could be detrimental to him. As Point Blank Hook looks to come out from Riley, but the minion is going to block it. Buzzy missing out on the Zenith Blade. Nice little dodge there. Riley has got that level 6, so does want to try and find that death from below, but it's going to be hard as the wave's going to get shoved in, and Riley needs to just catch as much of this farm as possible.
Yeah, and this is the like kind of downside of the Pike like earlier, right? I mean, really has been doing a good job. He's like only 10 CS down. He's actually going to be able to pick up most of this wave as well, so it's not looking too bad. I'm kind of surprised to see Sarg actually going for the cool when he's playing this matchup. I would just assume that he wants to just keep perma-fight as much as possible. But as you saw there, like Sarg, as he has the prio like pretty much permanently the first 6 levels in this game, he can just play in the minions. It's really hard for Really to like get something going in, at least in a 1v1. But now he has the Dirk, and let's see if this it's gonna change now. Now Snill actually already level 6, so I think this is where Nate's actually gonna start to play, like, and turn it up a notch.
Yeah, you kind of need to see what team's going to pull that trigger. Remember, we are on that patch where typically teams like to sit and wait. Already, we're only 6 minutes in, 7 minutes in, and had 4 kills, which is, if you've not watched any 12-10 content, that's actually we're quite a fast-paced game right now. Keeping that tempo up. I'm curious to see how this Pyke is actually going to work out for Riley, because it just feels like a bit of a bizarre pick. A pick which, you know, I don't really know what it does. Obviously, you want to be roaming with it, but he's now that level 6 mark. It's actually the Halo Blade's not the Predator build, so Halo Blade's typically the normal Pyke build, actually, to be completely fair. But it's a pick we haven't seen for a long time in the mid lane, especially after a lot of the changes kind of forced it out and back into that support role. So I don't know where they're going to intend to use this and how they're going to intend to use this, because I feel like you get to a point where does your wave clear really come from? I guess Snilly and Lundorf, but you don't really have like a proper mid laner. You have someone who's like an executor and a pick champion for you. Yeah, you got the double hook, so you have some pressure to work with. Lundorf actually coming in with the barrel, with the slam. That might just be enough. The culling comes down, and Snilly will pick up the kill with the Requiem.
Yeah, and I guess that's how you play with the Pyke in mid. You just need your team to be able to get prior and then move. I mean, it really looked kind of comfortable there in the 1v1 as well. It was actually pushing Sarg in, and I'm not sure if the Lucia maybe was respecting the fact that Lundorf had pushed on top side as well. But actually a really smart move there from Lundorf. He knows that he can just push this lane out, and then he doesn't really have to be in lane until he can catch this fat wave. So he just moves mid, actually forcing Sarg's flash there as well. It's really huge, and really obviously still has his ultimate backup. Gonna have his flash as well. Maybe this is like the time, because as you mentioned, right, you don't want to really pick Pyke to this lane 1v1. Obviously you want to go for roams, and maybe this is actually an angle now, because Nativz has like a really big slow push on the bot side.
Yeah, it looks like he is moving down. Called it correctly there, M-Test. Making their way over. Hasn't been spotted out on the wards as well, which is the big thing. So now they're going to step up. Going in for a cheeky swim, but already somebody's going low. Featherstorm comes out. They get a snare onto one. Chopper jumps in forwards with the ultimate. He's able to finish up a kill. 1 for 1. 80 carry for support. Nativz going to be quite happy with that trade for themselves. And they've got Snilly catching the wave in the mid side as well. So no farm getting lost out here. And Snilly actually accruing a massive farm lead over his counterpart in Woljo.
Yeah, I mean, this is just smart movement, right, from Nativz. He really obviously knows that he's not gonna get prior even if he has items. So he just knows that, okay, I don't care about my lane. Actually, as I said, it's gonna be fun, okay?
He's got Ignite. He's looking for the kill, turning him low, but it's not gonna be low enough. One more auto, one more empowered auto probably would have been enough, but unfortunately, Super Big Fun unable to find the execution there on the kill. And that is going to be all she wrote in that top side, as a hook will connect here from Riley, but Sarge still got that dash, so not feeling under too much threat versus this Pyke in the mid, as Clocks was hanging around in the wings. Depth charge is up and available there for Clocks to use, but it looks like it's gonna cool off for a moment. We got this dragon spawning up in 44 seconds time already. Nativz have been able to pick up this first dragon, so they may look to try and just accelerate that neutral objective pace in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure. If they can get this Drake as well, with the fact that they're playing Karthus against a Lucian mid, it's just gonna be super huge for the game, because it's gonna force London United to like contest the third and the fourth Drake. I'm gonna be excited to see now if maybe if bot fight breaks up, because I think both of these bot lanes, they want to be able to push this lane out. But Snille, level 8 already, has the Leandris. He's super strong.
Yeah, they're jumping in. Buzzy actually catches out. They're jumping with the Cyclone. Woljo lands onto 2. Chopper jumps back. Clock's trying to buy them away for the time, but that is going to be the end of Chopper. Snilly able to answer out though for a 1v1. A flash over by Buzzy to avoid the hook from Clocks, but Snilly's still going to get a little bit more damage off. Buzzy will go down. Double kill for Snilly, and Clocks will survive. Nativz should be able to pick up this dragon uncontested.
Man, Snille gets to pick up the mid wave. He gets to pick up the double kill on the bot side. This guy is gonna be super insanely strong. In 30 CS ahead, gonna pick up, as you mentioned, the second Drake as well. And I mean, I think it looked so good there for London United at the start. Like, Voljo got multiple targets off with his ultimate. They kind of one-tapped Joppa before he could even do anything. As I say that though, the ulti is coming out. Is that just for farm?
I think it's just to send a message. Just to send a message. Or that, or he got his R and his B key muddled up. But either way, Snilly just going to get a little bit more damage off to pad those stats. 4 and 0. A 2-level lead over Woljo as well. And that's quite important, just because of the way the new patch works. You know, you get these extra resistances per level. So having a level lead over your opponent really, really pads your stats so big. It's so big here. So Snilly, quite a lot more tanky than his counterpart with that in his inventory. And now it looks like London United, they want to try and get their hands onto some of these neutrals. And it looks like they are going to pick up this Rift Herald uncontested.
Yeah, and that's at least like something, right? It's like a silver lining for London United. I think I really hope that they can use this before the plates are gonna go down in like a minute and a half. But yeah, I mean, just looks super good for Nativz. Like they kind of outskill on not every single lane, I would say, but the fact this card is super far ahead. Wait, I'm not gonna talk too much though because Sarg is here to counter this.
It's got a lot of damage onto Clocks though. Cullen comes out, minions are gonna eat the majority of it, and Clocks just able to survive. Nice little roam there by Sarge to make sure that his AD carry wasn't going to get picked off alive. Super big fun. Eats the Everfrost, slides back in with the E. Got that perfect execution. One more charge and interrupt by Lundorf with the belly bop to make sure that he does not get executed. Meanwhile, the Solar Flare is a little bit wide, but Clocks is going to get called out by the Feathers as the Feather Storm will secure the kill. Jopper chasing onto Buzzy. He's got Riley coming in. Just needs to get them low enough for the execute. In for the swim. Riley goes. A little bit more damage comes down. The Feathers won't quite catch out as actually they look to turn it back around. Buzzy lands the Zenith Blade and in comes Woljo. X for the spot comes out as Riley now realizes the error of his ways. Able to jump over the wall and the Monkey can't quite chase on. Meanwhile, in the top lane, this extended fight carries on. A super big fun looking for Lundorf. Lundorf very low. One more empowered auto should just about do it. And Snilly comes in for the turnaround, for the tidy up. Rift Herald's getting thrown down here in the bottom lane as Jopper trying to hold on to his tower. Should be able to do so. That was a lot of action, M-Test.
Man, like... These guys makes your job so hard. They're fighting on every single lane and so much chaotic stuff are going on. Still having his ultimate. Actually, they're not done with this.
Fox is looking for the hook, able to connect it, and down goes Buzzy. Rusty Sniper will survive. Jopper could find him potentially with the Void Seeker, but not going to do so as Riley misses out on the hook onto Woljo.
Man, like such a crazy point in the game. Like from the point kind of where Herald got picked up from London Light and Volger just moved to the bot side. They're just perma fighting on every single lane. This is what I love to see. I'm just in the end. I mean, Snille kind of managed to save his top lane. Obviously, Lundorf going down to the solo kill actually from Super Big Fun, but did it really matter in the end? Snille picks up the kill, picks up the wave as well. This guy is just super snowballed at this point of the game, and feels like he's using his ARM cooldown. They managed to pick up another kill, and yeah, I mean, all in all, like Nativz, they're still like sitting on a 2.5k goldie, right? They are still super comfortable in the game, and they're just, I mean, I feel like they're kind of just waiting for this next trade to happen, right? I feel they're just so much stronger. Really has been like kind of surviving this lane phase really well. I feel like he hasn't been punished at all by Sarg on this Lucian, and now he's just kind of free to roam around the map as he like.
I mean, we're now 15 minutes in. Leandri's Shadow Flame onto Snille. Got the Kraken Slayer onto Jopper. There is a Gale Force for Rusty Sniper to work with. So Riley actually not quite got an item. They do actually get the bot back, though. And Rusty Sniper will get taken down with a death from below into another hook. This should be a second for Riley. And that's so much gold just gifted over to the side of Nativz. You can see the gold lead on your screen right now. Sarge puts up the sad Zoe as he loses about a third of his health to Snille.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the upside, right? Like when Relay is just free to like kind of roam around the map, he doesn't really need every single wave on. He knows that even if Sarge gets a prio, Snille can just pick up under the tower. It's not like Lucian can punish Snille on the tower. This guy is like he's level 12, man, and every single other champion on the enemy team is like level 10. Actually, I have one guy level 11 on Super Big Fun, but he's just super snowballed. I really don't think that Lundorf is about to get dove. This guy has just been kind of soaking up the pressure, and even though this guy died kind of solo to a color, right? It doesn't really matter. Like the fact that he's just kind of denying the snowball potential from London United is just kind of enough. And I'm just surprised to see this Lucian pick up, not really accomplishing much in this early game. Obviously it's like a team game, right? But if this Lucian can get prio, I think he should try to involve his team and try to do some proactive plays. This is another.
Oh my word!
That's too much damage, man. He has Shadow Flame, he has First Strike as well. Actually, it would be kind of nice to see for like the gold, how much gold Snille has like been accumulating on this on this room, because this guy, as soon as the Requiem comes up, he has press arm and he doesn't care.
Damage bar, durability patch, by the way, just to be completely fair with you. That is insane amounts of damage coming out from them as Riley actually lands the hook here. Has got the death. He's just dead.
Yeah, Rust Sniper, you still had your ultimate, mate, but Rille is too fast on his fingers, gets the combo off, and that's a solo kill as well. And then, I mean, man, this game is just kind of blowing up now. The Nativz just kind of are activated on every single lane. Lundorf, again, like, just kind of soaking the pressure a lot. And I just watched Snille actually getting 500 gold or more. That's like basically almost 2 kills just from using his ultimate. It's kind of cheating, right? But he picked up the Magi's now as well. This guy's not playing around.
Yeah, he's starting his library. Got that in the works. You can see already. Sarge going, you know what? I don't want anything to do with that. He's got himself a Hex Drinker, but the Shadow Flame passive then works when the Hex Drinker's popped, because it is a shield. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. You get a little bit of extra resistances and a magic shield, but then also he gets more pen versus you. You'll have to try and see if that's actually gonna make the difference here. Rusty Sniper, I that's why I didn't even bother playing the fight with Riley, because I assumed he was just going to Featherstorm away from the execute, but no, just didn't expect it to land. Thought he could dodge it and paid the ultimate price. Is Waljo maybe thinking about diving onto this pike? Could be a little bit hard. There's a lot of movement up and available with the mixture of the Prowler's Claw and the Flash, and they're looking for action on every front. Look at the damage coming out. Sarge just dodging away the hook. If it hits, could be big. Sarge not quite getting executed yet. The culling comes down. Raleigh eating a lot of it. In comes the monkey with a monkey bop. Able to pick up the kill as Jopper now slides in, takes down Sarge. It's Jopper versus Waljo left over here as Waljo still has his ultimate up and available. Gonna get a little bit of damage off to him and Snilly making his way forward. Waljo now realizing the errors of his way. Monkey slide, monkey bop, and monkey down. Snilly finds the kill.
Man, this guy Snille has just been picky. He's just been kind of a cleaning department this game. Like, he's getting so much done with this. But Lundorf, oh, the ult is good for Rusty.
That was very, very good for him. Able to dodge away on it this time, but Jopper doing too much damage. 1 kill picked up for him. Looking for the slow, looking for the hook. Not going to quite connect. The feathers get pulled back, but nobody's going down. Lundorf limps away, but was able to set up his AD carry for the kill.
Man, the Rusty Sniper actually played that kind of pixel perfect, but it doesn't really matter. They are too far behind. Joppa already has his Phantom that's completed, and I mean, it just looks like London United, they're kind of fighting on almost every single front, but at this point, it feels like they're just kind of desperate. Obviously, they were trying to force something there onto Rille, but I mean, Rille he was kind of respecting it at first, because he was like, wait, there's no way that this Lucian is just kind of trying to 1v1 me now, and he's kind of this far behind. So kind of obvious that Wukong is gonna be there, but really doesn't care in the end. He knows his team is gonna come and clean up, and I just have to mention this as well. Again, like Snille, 213 CS before 20 minutes. It's kind of giving me like Froggen vibes back in the days. Yeah, I mean, this guy is just completely cracked, honestly.
I mean, he's almost filled his book out as well, so yeah. he is looking very, very scary right now. But Rusty Sniper going for the return of the crit build on Xayah. We saw this last week when it did show up, the 1 game on Xayah. People kind of opting away from that Eclipse build that we had on like 12.9 and the patches leading up to that as well. It's gone back to the Gale Force, gone back to the Essence Reaver. I'm surprised to see the Gale Force. I know obviously the extra dash and the movement is super important, but the rise in the extra resistances and the rise in true damage means we are seeing quite a lot of Kraken Slayers showing up. Jopper showing this, Sarge showing this as well. But Rusty Sniper maybe feeling a little bit too vulnerable in this game, even with that Featherstorm. Wants the extra survivability, the extra safety, but the movement speed and the additional dash gets you from the Gale Force. So is looking to be running with that one for now, as Riley does look for a cheeky hook onto Waljo, but isn't going to be able to hit it, as unfortunately we have ourselves a little pause.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good point you bring up there, actually. Like, the fact that you're just kind of scaling a lot better. You actually get so much more armor magic resistance as well just from the get-go. I mean, seeing this is just kind of a go-to build for the Xayah, going Gale Force, but I think it's kind of what like it differs a lot of like good players from like really good players. They're like really fast to pick up on new reads, and like they're actually like taking time to like kind of study how the meta develops and like actually change the stuff. I think it's okay this game to go Gale Force, but I really agree with you that Kraken just kind of sets you up. It's not like he has to Gale Force a lot of things this game. He can just ult. The thing that he has to ulti obviously is the card's ulti. Like if he doesn't do that, then he's probably just gonna die regardless. But Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited to see though if you're gonna see a lot of more Saya today, because as you mentioned, the Eclipse build, this build was super boring to both watch and play. You're kind of just playing at 2 screens away, trying to poke your enemies. This is a lot more fun with the Kaisa and the Saya popping off. You're kind of able to have so much more agency in the game. Can play kind of how aggressive you want. It's just a lot of like skill expression, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be nice to see if maybe the Gale Force is gonna go out of meta in short time.
Yeah, I still think the reason that you do see Gale Force though on the Xayah is the reposition tool as well to kind of
Yeah,
reposition the
that's
feathers.
fair.
So I guess there's that as well. It's just obviously, with the current patch, Kraken Slayer has shown up as quite a confident, not confident, quite a powerful mythic for AD carries. I'm personally okay with it because I really dislike Gale Force as an item. I wish it was removed. I hate it. It's so unfun, but yeah, it is. Luckily, it's not getting played quite as much as we saw, on the previous patches where we had like the Jinx being a very, very popular champion and then constantly picking that item up. But kind of just taking stock of where we are elsewhere as well. Still building towards that Void Staff. Got the Blighting Jewel in the inventory. 15 stacks on the Medjay, Shadowflame, and Leandries there for them. We've got the Kraken and the Maw finished up for Sage. Right over the Prowler's Claw, building towards the next item. I'm assuming it'll probably be something like an Umbral Glaive or maybe a Ghost Blade. But actually, I don't think that's the build for Ghost Blades. It's probably Umbral Glaive. Maybe I can't
Yeah,
remember lethality items off the top of my head.
I think it's a good guess. I think you just with Pike as well. You know, you just want to be able to know that your enemy doesn't have vision on you, and just having that passive is just super OP because he has so much movement speed as well. You can clear so many wards just by this passive. So I think it's probably what he's going with. I do kind of respect this decision from London United. They are trying to kind of get some control of the river for the seconds before this toll point is actually about to spawn for actually not even the soul point, actually the soul for Nativz is gonna come up, and obviously they're forced to contest this. I'm not really sure how they're gonna be able to do this. I think they super big fan needs some sort of like insanely godlike TP flank, but it's really not possible for London United to get this. But if he can get into the fight, maybe there's a way, because they all have like almost 2 items, like at least all
Yeah.
their carries do. So maybe this is like their point to actually try something. If Nativz, they kind of maybe they mess up something, they mess up the execution. Maybe this is like their way back into the game.
I mean, we saw a lot of teams. Sorry, I had a complete brain fart there. We saw a lot of teams actually put an emphasis on the dragons and the Rift Heralds last weekend into Div 1 when we started on this patch. Purely because we just saw, a lot of teams kind of defaulting to basics on these on these kind of patches when you're not actually sure what the meta is and how to play.
Yeah.
So junglers go, well, do I gank because it's quite hard to gank? Do I just power farm? Do I invade? And a lot of them just kind of opted back to going, let's just go dragons. Let's just play for these dragons. Let's try and get these objectives under our belts and then go from there. So that's kind of, something that we've seen quite a lot of. This is going to be a 21, 22 minute soul. And if it's an Infernal Soul for Nativz, I think this game's over. I actually just think this game is hard over. You've got a Karthus who's scaled with Infernal Soul. You've got a Kaiser who's pretty close to being there. Like, she's strong now, but like that third item when it comes in, that IE, just going to be absolutely clapping people. So, that with the soul, it feels like it's going to be mega doomed, especially when Elder is super powerful on this patch. Like, it's always been a powerful buff, but true damage burn, execute means extra resistances mean nothing. And it just makes it such a more powerful buff. Just an update while we're still on our faces right here. London United Buzzy is experiencing lag right now. We have no ETA on when they're coming back, hopefully soon. But for now, that's why we are just filling the air and having a bit of a chat. Unlucky M-Test, our first cast together ever. And we get ourselves an elongated pause in the middle of the game.
Yeah, this is bound to happen, right? I think Kipper is gonna DM some people later and say like, I'm never gonna cast with Emtus again. This guy's giving me so much unlucky moments. It's a bummer. But yeah, I think what you mentioned right about the Drakes as well. I think maybe it's actually London United way back into the game if they give the soul and then magically 4 out of 5 plays on Nativz days disconnect, and then they get the Elder somehow. They just get to do something, you know. But other than that, I think I think it's fair point for you to say as well that if they don't manage to stop this soul and not give it over to Nativz, it's gonna be It's gonna be an uphill battle to say the least for our boys here in the blue.
It's gonna be a hard battle. I don't think their team is like hard out scale to the point where they, they just can't play. I think, Nativz, they definitely have some clear weaknesses within their team. Like you got a Pike in your mid lane. You don't really have a real mid laner. You have like a team fight executor on your team. Obviously the Gragas is going to be pretty solid in the side lane. Also as a wave clear tool, you've obviously got very fed Karthus and Xayah. Kai'Sa. Xayah's on the other team. But even so, there are gaps within that team. There are mistakes to be made. There is a way back into that game. I just think the hill that you have to climb up as London United has just become incredibly steep. And it's probably going to be even steeper once this soul's picked up, because you're seeing how much damage that the Karthus ult is doing. Imagine that with a soul proc going off, an infernal soul proc going off. Imagine that then in 5 minutes time when the Elder's on there, that hits, soul proc burns, and Elder buff burn, and then you're probably just getting executed. This patch doesn't mean people can't be one shot. It just means it's harder to one shot. That's a fed Karthus. He could still do serious amounts of damage. And even if his ult doesn't one shot, if you're trying to check into Baron and he just ults, you're all probably too low to actually go for that fight without Pyke just finishing everybody off. It's going to be an incredibly hard game for the side of London United to bring back. I don't think they are. I don't think they're out of options yet, but I do think it's gonna be a harder one. This is definitely gonna be a hard game for the side of London.
I think it's like how I would say it is. Okay, so Kebnekaise, it's the tallest mountain in Sweden at 2k meters, and right now Nativz, they are standing on top of that mountain, and our boys on blue, they have to kind of climb that. But if the soul goes over to Nativz, this Kebnekaise mountain is gonna transition into Mount Everest, and it's gonna be hell for them to try to climb up of that, but not impossible, right? But they really need like some. I think they need to pray right now in this pause as well, and maybe. I mean, let's be honest, right? It's not gonna be a remake. This guy's experiencing some lag. It's gonna be back into the game, but they need to pray for sure.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you want it to go from Everest to Snowdon, which is more relevant to London. Snowdon is an English mountain. It's a small one. I think it's our biggest, but it's like really not that hard to climb. Like I mean, it's not like I don't think you could just do it if you're out of shape, but like I could walk up it, and I'm not like training. It's a mountain you can climb without training, as long as you're at least healthy.
Hey, that's respectable though. I'm looking at it right now. Actually, it's I think it's half the size of our highest mountain. Yeah, looks like at least. But mountain. I mean, obviously Mount Everest is like. It's gonna be Nativz this game. I mean, I like the idea that London United has now. They're trying to contest the river, but they have to get Akali involved in this fight. I mean, obviously we can just talk about this fight however much we want, right? Because we know that in 40 seconds when this game starts, it's gonna be a fight and it's gonna be do or die for London United regardless. If they, as you mentioned, we said this 5 times now, if they lose this Drake, it's gonna be probably GG. But I like the fact now that they're actually trying to group up and doing something proactive as a team. Probably for the first time in this game. But this midway is going to be important actually, because 30 seconds for this Drake. If they can get this midway first, they can enter the river first. But Lundorf is on the flank.
Yeah, Lundorf is on the flank, coming in with the Everfrost, able to catch onto Woljo. 20 seconds till Dragon spawns, and I also just feel like maybe we just see Snitty press R, chunk everyone on London, and then they could just like ensure that London are walking into death. They land a hook onto Super Big Fun. Takes a little bit of health as Lundorf also on the flank. Here it is. The Requiem comes down. Pop goes the Weasel. Rusty Sniper pops the ultimate. And now that's a major tool down and wasted as the Dragon is up on the map. And Woljo might just need to make that hero play happen. This Dragon still spitting out a little bit of damage. Everfrost does land. Hook goes a little bit wide, as in they go with a Zenith play, but Buzzy will fall down. They get the slowdown as well from the Wall of Decay onto Super Big Fun, and he should fall after the Zhonya's times out. Joppa untouched, and it is just an easy as fight as Woljo will lose his life. Dragon and a kill for Snilly. And I think we're now at Everest.
Nativz climbed really fast there. In 20 seconds they managed to climb like almost 7k meters. That's really impressive. I mean, it was actually super close there for Woljo to actually get the smite off and get the Drake, but it feels like Nativz were also kind of just baiting him. Like they were just, you think you're gonna get this, and then they just finish him off. They get the Drake, the Soul, now they're gonna get the Nash as well. Snille is level 15. I mean, you call it perfectly, right? He's just gonna ult before the fight. Doesn't really matter. Like he just draws so much tension with his ultimate, and look, like it's almost back up from cooldown as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just go. Maybe they just go 4 mids, maybe 1 on the side, and they just try to dive London United, because there is not much they can do to defend themselves, honestly.
It's so hard because, you know, you got 25 stacks on the Carthus. He's almost level 16 as well, so max points in that Requiem. And, you know, you're talking about Rusty Sniper, who's a 2-item, level 11 Zaya, versus a level 16, 25 stat Medjai's Carthus. I mean, there is a saving grace here, M-Test.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a death cap. At least there's that.
Actually, imagine I had that attitude in life as well. I would be just banging, honestly. Just super positive. Hey, this guy Cardis doesn't even have his Rabadon yet. I love that. Obviously, maybe not gonna be enough, but you know, positive attitude, you know, goes a really long way. I would be surprised if Snille doesn't just ult on this wave, honestly. Since the cooldown is so low as well, he doesn't really care, and he can farm more gold. Yeah, I mean, that is coming in. I mean, that's just massive, honestly. That's just super annoying. Oh, Joppa though!
Oh my word! The damage from Joppa and the execute coming in from Riley is just going to be enough. Not enough to find the execute there onto Super Big Fun, but the towers will fall and the Baron push is going to continue here for the side of Nativz. I don't know if London United have enough fuel left in the tank to hold on this game, because their inhibitor number 1 in the mid lane will go down. It looks like Nativz, they're going to give them a moment. They're going to let them catch their breath. But this will come at the cost of another major objective in this tower falling down on the top side. And it looks like they're going to continue the push towards this top lane tier 3 as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just looking so grim, right? I don't think they can just keep this push. They don't even have to base on it. Obviously, they can just go for the next inhibitor as well. I would be surprised maybe if they don't go for the end as well, but the wave is gonna be too small. So as you mentioned, they're gonna give London United a bit of a breather, but it's like emphasis on little. It's not gonna be much. I wanna kind of mention as well really fast that Snille, you know, Flame Horizon back in the day was when you got 100 more CS than your opponent, but Snille actually taking it one step further as well. He has double the CS of Voljo. It's kind of insane, honestly.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's super crazy. 3 minutes until that soul comes up as well. I don't even know if we're gonna get to soul, to be honest with you. I think Nativz may just look to try and go for one final shove here. They could play it smart though and just wait out a little bit longer. I have to keep our eyes on that for now. But it looks like the rotation from the side of Nativz is now towards this bottom side of the map. First of all, it means if they don't win the game here, they have pressure down here and they can just quickly translate that into the dragon, or they can look to try and close the game out and take down this final inhibitor tower. But there is a death brush being set up by London, so this could be their one and only moment. Remember, a 1,000 shutdown onto Snille. Oh. He does have a stopwatch. Oh no, don't worry, it's over.
Yeah, this is coming. Oh my god, man.
My word. Oh my word. Crocs is coming in. The Featherstorm comes down. The Cyclone is there. Everybody inside of Nativz is locked in place as the X goes wide, but it doesn't matter because a double kill's been picked up by Snille. Make that another kill for Lundorf as 3 members of London United fall. Nativz quite happy to shove this tower up. Crocs will stopwatch that last tower shot, so he won't be going down. And as that fight fails, the tower, the base will fall to Nativz. Nexus has been left exposed, and it looks like Nativz are looking to farm and pad those stats a little bit more. But nope, game's over. 27 minutes on the clock. Nativz go 3-1. And London is still denied from their first win.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the idea coming from London. They try to draft like kind of pry lanes and try to do maybe something proactive. The only problem was though that Nativz, they were ready for this. I was feeling like they were kind of disrespecting them with this draft, but hey man, they're confident. They're not here to mess around. And yeah, I mean, they just managed to stay alive until level 6. They were even fighting back actually and winning these fights, which is just super disastrous for for London United. And I mean, yeah, just a clean pickup there from Nativz. I mean, Snille, once again, I just have to talk about this guy since obviously he's Swedish and he popped off this game. I think we're gonna have an interview with him as well for the winners interview. But I mean, man, this Carlos pickups. I mean, this game looks really good. Right? I mean, you don't get punished. Obviously, if you're playing maybe against someone who's like a bit more coordinated or have the picks to do this, like with the Lucia, maybe have like an equally strong jungle. I'm not sure. I mean, Wukong is pretty strong early, I would say. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Nativz just well played, man.
That was a super, super good game there from Nativz. I mean, there were weaknesses in that comp, and I also was surprised not to see the Pike just roaming quite early. It took a while before they actually put that Pike onto the map, but they just seemed to understand how to play that comp, and they understood what they were doing, and they just got so far ahead. It just got to the point where, you know, mistakes didn't really matter, and London just weren't able to punish them. So London have been denied yet another win. We are going to throw ourselves to a very quick break, and when we're back with our second game. No, we've got interviews. Then our game. So we'll have interviews first. So we'll see you in a moment. Don't go anywhere, I guess.